Let's say that weird. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. My name is Hannah and I am a thriller and horror author from the south of England. On this channel I make videos about writing, reading, researching and marketing, and also any other creative things I feel like sharing. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, please do consider subscribing. How do you go about making content plans for your social media platforms, and the way you're doing it, does it work for you? It feels like a super long time ago that I actually made one of these like sit down and chat about stuff videos. I've kind of got into vlogging a little bit more recently, but I mentioned this idea to a few different authors that I know, mostly on Instagram and a couple on YouTube, and they all mentioned that they would find it really useful if it was in like a proper format. So I hope that this is helpful. One of the most common conversations I have with other authors on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, is that finding content that works and that they're happy to stick to and feel motivated by is a real struggle. Now, quick disclaimer before we get into like the meat of this video, I do not consider myself an expert. This is purely what works for me. Sometimes it doesn't work for me. I think the real learning curve with any social media platform and any marketing is that it is not one size fits all, so not everything will work in the same way for everyone who uses it. This is just what works for me, what I enjoy doing, and actually it's what I learned from being in the marketing industry, so doing it business facing rather than like independent author facing. So I feel like it's grounded in a fair bit of theory, and I really hope you find it useful. I think the number one lesson I've learned from marketing my book is you take bits of different marketing plans and different strategies and different theories and jam them together and just see how they work for you. So how do I go about planning my content for my social media platforms? To keep it really simple, I'm going to be talking about the Twisted 10 anthology project that I'm part of at the minute with 9 other authors. I figure using this as an example is easier because it's quite a clear project. The goals for the project are very clear. It just makes more sense. However, just because I'm showing it in terms of an anthology or a short story or for an upcoming published book, it doesn't mean that you can't use it for other things like brand building and for other platforms such as YouTube, Facebook or whatever, or if you want to tie them all together in one big plan, that's also totally okay. So this is a content pillar. I don't even know if that's a real name for it. That's just what I'm going to call it. I guess it looks a little bit like a temple. So the top half in the triangle is your goals, and then the columns underneath are your content and how you will use that content to fuel your goals. So in the top triangle, or like the roof of the temple, I guess, you would put your goals. I tend to have between 1 and 3. Don't really go over that because then it's just too much, it's too overwhelming and you're less likely to hit them. So the goals for the Twisted 10 for this quarter, so October through to the end of December, are to double follower count by the end of December. That sounds huge, but it's not actually that massive because the follower count to start off with isn't massive, but it's still a really good goal. And the second goal is to increase post engagement by 50%. So currently we're sitting at around 30 engagements per post. I'd like to see that at 45. Also, if you're using Instagram a lot, you'll probably have noticed that the algorithm has changed. The thing with all of these algorithms is that the platform that you're on decides the rules of this game that none of us really have the rulebook to, and none of us really know how to use. So that's why testing is so important. So it looks like, from what I can glean from the internet and from what other people are saying on Instagram, that the value of a like and a comment has decreased and the value of a share and a save has increased. I totally understand the share element. You want to share your posts on other people's stories, on your stories. Obviously that drives more traffic back to the original poster and the original account. The save thing, I don't know that I understand quite so much. The only things I ever save on Instagram are recipes that I think at the time I'll definitely look at those, and then I never look at them ever again. So I don't really know what value Instagram is gaining by people saving posts. But for the sake of helping other authors and playing the game a bit, I'll do it, I'm game. If anyone has any other info on the Instagram algorithm, I'd love to hear it. I mean, it's all rumours and stuff, but we might learn something. So it's probably quite obvious that our goals are all focused around engagement and driving awareness of the brand and the project, so that when we do publish, hopefully we've got a bit of an audience there that will hopefully become our readership. If you already have a book out, your goals could be things like have a particular platform drive a number of sales, brand awareness, anything really. You're in charge of setting your goals, and then the pillars of content you have sitting underneath should feed those goals, so hopefully you can hit them. So our content pillars that sit underneath our goals are anthology updates, industry posts, and engagement drivers. This all sounds really formal, it's really not, it's just how my brain works. I hope it's followable. Followable? Did we invent a word? I'm basically Lewis Carroll. So in anthology updates, we have story updates, author insights, cover reveal, title reveal, merch, giveaways further down the line. Essentially, I would like to think that the majority, if not all of the people that follow us on Instagram right now are there because they're interested in the project. So I think that from a content perspective and from our current audience perspective, this is the most important pillar because they want to know what we're up to, where we're at in the project, what the project is looking like, is there anything they can learn for their own process by what we're doing, and vice versa, can we learn from other people? So yeah, this pillar is probably the most important. So I'm not going to tell you every single post I've planned underneath that pillar because yawn, will be here forever, and also I haven't really got as far as making any of the posts yet, apart from one. So examples of posts that would sit under this pillar would be things like cover reveals, so like a little sneak at the cover and the branding of the anthology, the title reveal, which I would hope would come before that because we actually haven't said what the title is yet, and also some more author insights. So how are individual stories coming along? Can we tease any of the stories? Stuff like that. And the real benefits to having this as a column is to obviously spread awareness of the brand, to keep people interested and up to date in the project, and hopefully to convert those people into readers when you do publish the book. The second column we have is industry posts, which sounds way more formal than it is. That sounds proper businessy. I can't shake it. I'm wearing the glasses. I mean, this is essentially a business and marketing video now, I'm sorry. So what do we mean by industry posts? Essentially, what I mean by that is we want to be in a position in our account where we're sharing news about the author community on whatever platform we're on, or multiple, doesn't matter. That could be self-published, traditionally published, hybrid published, whatever, indie, doesn't matter. I also think it's really important at this stage of us having the account to start getting more involved in that community. There's already a thriving community on Instagram, which is obviously the platform I'm talking about right now. So we should be more involved in it. So the only solid plans I have for this column at the moment is something we started on Sunday, the 11th of October. So that was the Sunday of the Worldwide Write-a-thon, which was amazing. Obviously, shout out to Jess again for her ridiculous organisational skills. Yeah, so we started posting on Sunday and we called it Self-Published Sundays. So that is basically where we're going to have a rummage in the community, which shouldn't take too long because we're all quite friendly, and basically just shout out other authors that are either newly published, or actually they don't even need to be newly published, just, you know, they've got some work out there. It could be published, it could be an ebook, it could be just a really great blog post. It literally doesn't matter. We just want to shout about people in that community. The benefits to this kind of post, they're kind of huge, really. You're obviously driving more traffic around the community in general, so us sharing other people's posts obviously helps the engagement in general, and then hopefully it encourages them to come back to us, so it just keeps it moving. And again, we'll be spreading awareness of the Twisted 10 brand. The final column we have is engagement drivers, which again sounds really businessy. Ugh. I'm gonna start dropping awful business words like synergy, equilibrium, holistic, frictionless. Yeah, I'll stop. Anyway, what I mean by engagement drivers is really going hard on the trendy Instagram posts. I've never really tried them that much, to be honest, but I mean things like the this or that story posts where you have the two columns and then you choose which one you would prefer. They are absolutely great for engagement. People love sharing them, and if you make them yourself, you can obviously make it in your branding. I have done that once in my life, and what I have learned is to not have your Instagram handle down the bottom corner because people just cut it out. So, I don't know, find somewhere else for it to live. We also want to start doing like a Follow Friday kind of thing, where again, we're shouting about the community that we're in. And we've already started doing this kind of post with the Would You Rather things. So, although they tend to have less engagement in terms of likes, they actually have way more engagement in terms of shares and comments. So, we're going to start trying to ignore the whole like situation, stop driving for likes, and just really go after the more meaningful engagement, so the comments especially and the shares. The benefits to this column, I've pretty much mentioned them already, to be honest. So the fact that you'll be driving brand awareness because your story posts will be branded, what they could be if you want them to be. And again, you're putting yourself in a position where you're going to get to know way more people in the community, and they're hopefully going to get to know you. So that is that, pretty much. In a nutshell, set your goals, and then set your column streams or your content streams or whatever you want to call them, and have whatever you make in mind to reach the goals you're setting. This can also totally be used for things that aren't writing. As I mentioned, this whole layout I learned from my day job, which is nothing to do with publishing and nothing to do with writing, so it's really transferable to pretty much anything. So I really hope you found that useful. So my top 3 tips for using any social media platform would be: 1, to set yourself some goals. Try to make sure that they are in some way measurable, but it doesn't have to be too formal, I guess, because it's just yourself. That if you can measure them, then obviously that's going to help you learn from what you're doing. Second piece of advice is to remember that it is never one size fits all. So even though I'm making this video saying that content strategy to me is really important, maybe it doesn't work for you. Maybe there's some other thing that really works for you and that just doesn't work for me, and that's totally fine. And my third piece of advice would be to not be afraid to test things out. As mentioned in the past point, what might work for me might not work for you. The only way you're going to find that out is by testing out a few different ways of posting, whether that means one day you'll do some reels and see how they go, or maybe you'll do just story posts for a week and see how that improves the traffic to your page. I really think that just testing stuff out and just trying it, throw it at the wall, see if it sticks. If it doesn't, move on to the next idea. Anyway, I really hope you did find that useful, or you found some parts of it useful that you could take away and use for your own marketing. If you did find it useful, please do like this video and maybe share it. Maybe we should be sharing these things. Please share my video. If you want to see more videos like this, and also some vlogs and some creative stuff and some writing and some reading, please do consider subscribing to my channel. Anyway, thanks for watching. I will be back again next week with another video.